Hello, Facebook friends and everyone online watching this today. Just very excited to be here today with Ronald Aai. Nice to be in your presence after all this time, and also to see my great friend and mentor, Paul McCarthy. And I want to start this interview off just we got a few questions here today. And first of all, I want to kind of tell my story. When I came on board with this, I've been a member of CloudToken now for about 2-3 months. And Paul has shared some great opportunity with me in the past here. He got me involved in some other cryptocurrency opportunities, and those went very, very well. And I've always trusted Paul's. It's all about truth and transparency, and also credibility coming from those that you work with. And I can honestly say that being in your presence, Ronald, I just think such from the first time I saw a video about you, an amazing smile. I was drawn to work with you, so it's an honor. I'm a little starstruck, honestly, to be here today. So Paul really got on my case about finally engaging with CloudToken, and that's why I'm here in Poland today and looking forward to the event tomorrow. We're going to have about 1,000 people here.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, we have 1,000 people, and Ron's amazing on stage, and this is your first time to Europe, I believe, as well. Is that correct?
First time doing such a big event here for CloudToken, yeah.
And so in your background, if you could tell us just a little bit about your background, Ronald, and you have no experience in network marketing, you've been in technology. Could you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, basically, I came from a development background. I was doing a lot of MRP, ERP sort of application for
what does that stand for exactly?
The manufacturing resource management planning, enterprise resource planning applications for the government, the Ministry of Defense, and also for large
of which country? You said
Malaysia. Yeah,
Malaysia. That's awesome.
And those are the days whereby everything is on the PC. You do a lot of things on the PC. Every company is trying to actually get into the ERP game, whereby all the resources are managed through a system, right? Mobile phones were a dime a dozen then. It's not say a dime a dozen. It's really not so. It's not so popular then, whereby everyone could get one. It's quite expensive. You're talking about maybe $200-300 just to get those single monochrome colored Nokia phones, where you can just text and call probably, right? So those are the days where I actually had this idea with my brother, saying that you can actually turn this into a computer, all right? The phone is a computer whereby we can put it into anybody's hands, and every one of them could actually start offering services to the people nearby. Right? So yeah, we started trying to build applications on Java.
1 second, please. Turn off, please. Sorry about that, guys. We have a great vacuumer upstairs. So thank you. Yeah. Go ahead. Continue. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, the time itself, the only phone that actually supported Java was the Nokia Symbian Series 60s, whereby it's a big fat phone from Nokia, and the market was really, really small. We're talking about really, really small, and but we actually made it work. The first decentralized kind of a system that actually provided services that is actually running on the phone. And what type of services can you actually provide? For example, on the phone itself, you can actually set that if I'm in this location itself, I want to give out a service like horoscope or something, right? And there is a credit system that we actually built whereby it's free. The information that you provided to the next person, you actually give out something, and the person who will collect it will actually then to use it, you have to give it out to somebody else.
Roughly what year was this?
It was close to 2000 something.
You only hear the term decentralized back then in 2000.
We don't really call it decentralized. We actually call it the DNA system, yeah.
Distributed network architecture.
It was very old days. Those that as old as me would know what DNA stands for. One of the terms that Microsoft always used there, right? So basically, we were using that for our phones. We actually had our first big break by selling the backend software to Telia. So it's a Swedish telecom. And we moved on from there itself, whereby it was too early for its time, whereby the phones weren't that popular then for Java especially. So I wanted to fulfill the dream of actually chasing down this thing and to make it. It's like push to the other guy to actually pick it up. So it's really terrible because the Koreans are a neat market, a very, very close-knitted market, and they don't actually expose their secrets or this type of knowledge to other people. So I actually told myself that once I actually get to learn this, I would not hold it back. I would actually teach it. I would not waste this. So the first project, the first big break for me was to do a project for China, whereby they needed my help to translate from English into Chinese. But they didn't know that I don't know Chinese. Right? So with my good skills, I Googled all the way.
Man, wow, thank you, Google.
So I wrote a script to actually do it automatically. And they actually wanted more languages. So there were like 5 or 6 languages over there. And I ran that through my engine, and they saw how actually I could actually do coding, automation. So I started to do a lot of automation for these phones, especially on the customization of how things look like and things like that. And during that time, they needed like, I think, 4 software engineers to 4 to 1. And 4 to 1 ratio for the hardware and the software. So they were really short, and that's why I actually came in and started to have a chance to actually work on the phone. And that's where I actually built my first phone, the stack itself. And with my knowledge and connection, we actually shocked the team by making a flat 6. You still remember the way how Android is now, but you have a grid style of icons. Remember the old phones, you have a 9x9, 3x3 menu. We actually turned that into become a 3D menu by just using, without changing a lot of things, just by changing the way it is being seen. All right, so we actually made it to become a 3D UI. So the Koreans then saw what we can do and started to give us more and more tasks to do. And one of the things that I did was I was then transferred to Aalborg, in Denmark, to learn with a team of really, really cool engineers that is doing the real basic stack, phone calls and things like that, where we learned a lot of stuff. It's like when you make a call, how it affects the battery consumption and the board itself, things like that. So we learned a lot of stuff then. So it's really, really technical then, which I get to learn both hardware and software, and even the mechanical design of it, how to design a phone in such a way that to hold it, it doesn't affect the antennas and things like that. So a lot of these things I get to learn it, and I brought all the skills back onto China, whereby I ran a factory with 14 lines. We have 12,000 people running 24 hours through a factory.
12,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, workers. You haven't counted the engineers there and the supervisors and all the rest of the support staffs. We were chunking out about 1.4 million phones a month, and we're supplying 80% to China. I mean, just that Guangdong region.
They love their phones. Yeah.
The first phone that we did was actually a clamshell small phone, whereby we call it the beauty case. So what happens is if you close it down, the front mirror would turn to the front glass would turn to a mirror. Yeah. And then we actually had the first karaoke phones, whereby you can actually do a left-right mute, so you can mute the singing or the music. Yeah. And you have words and things like that. Remember those times whereby you don't have any Android phones, whereby you have an app store where you can download stuff. So we had that during those times, and it was really crazy. We were making a lot from these phones, whereby people download songs from us, and we would charge them $1 a piece. So that was the first time whereby we worked with operators. We were making so much money actually than using this style. That's when I actually noticed that for every phone we sell, it's actually not quite important. It's what is actually the recurring income that makes everything looks fun. So yeah, I actually sold my position in the factory, and with the fund itself, I funded a company that I had in China called Myke for about 4 years. We were just dabbling with really cool things like push email through this feature phones, we call it. And then I was working a lot of ultra low cost phones which only cost about $12.
Yeah.
Yeah, $8, $12. Yeah.
Making money on the service.
Yeah, and the battery itself can last the phone for like 2 weeks. And yeah, you have
better than the
email.
iPhone right there, huh?
Yeah. It was pretty cheap then. You're talking about maybe retail is about $15 per phone. It was sold to a lot of places in Indonesia. I could say that every 10 phones that go to Indonesia, 9 of them would have my library.
That's impressive, everyone, right there. That's very, very
So
impressive.
we were working with every brand under the sun, under the banner in Indonesia, and it was really cool. We had our first chat system before even WeChat, and it was one of the best things that ever happened. And we wanted to actually do. We actually did a very cool app that was people can do free calls. All right, so do free call, you need to listen to 30 seconds of ads from the sponsor. So the sponsor at the time was a cigarette company, right? The biggest companies in Indonesia were the cigarette companies. And you would listen to a 30-second commercial, and you can make a 2-minute call. Yeah, before you get disconnected. Yeah.
How about that ratio?
Yeah, so it was pretty cool then. We ran with this, and at that time we started to build a lot of knowledge for my guys. We had 2 patents then. Both actually relied on how we can actually wake up the phone without using a lot of cost. All right. So for now, you know that when I call someone, right, it's actually free, no matter where you are in the world, as long as you don't pick up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that particular method is being used, but the thing is, the phone will always ring when somebody calls you. But in the stack itself, okay, which I get to learn during my times in Elbrock, is there is a command which I can actually send a signal to you without you noticing, and your phone would react to it. All right, it's like calling you without calling you. And actually patented that, and you can actually see that from Google if you look through my name.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were using that to do the push system for our phones, and we were basically having a chat system without the phone connected to the net all the time. And it was really, really well. Yeah, that's why we actually captured a lot of the markets there. Then the Android King, we stood by what we're doing, which is to actually cater for the poor communities, all right? Because the rich communities will always buy an iPhone or a Samsung, but the rest of the community would buy all these $15 phones, right? And so long story short, about 6 years down, a Singapore listed company called The Cloud, they bought over my company, and I was transferred to Singapore. It was a big change for us because the team.
You got children, you're married,
yeah,
family with you.
And well, my kids, my kids were young then. My son particularly was in year 3, I think, so he had to take another whole new test in Singapore. But anyway, he passed, luckily, so he doesn't need to stay back 1 year and things like that. But anyway, we all moved to Singapore, and we started working with a lot of e-commerce platforms. At that time, there were big giants fighting each other, like Magento, Shopee, and Lazada, and all those guys. They were actually fighting in this small space. And you have Amazon and all these guys attacking the market. Yeah. So the keyword then was actually O2O. How can actually get people to buy online
O2O?
and call like offline.
Okay.
Yeah, online to offline.
Okay.
Yeah, they call O2O, right? So the reason why is this, okay, particularly in Asia and in Singapore, all right, no one is actually at home. Only the old people are at home. So if you were to buy something and send it to your house, nobody's there to actually pick it up. So what they do is, okay, you can actually order through our chain, and you can pick it up at any stores that you want on the way back. All right. So we were actually doing all of this stuff. Plus, we actually dabbled with a payment system in Indonesia as well, and we also got invited to build a Indonesian national chat system. Yeah, so there was all of those. Had a stint about 2.5 years, 3 years. I bought my team out, and we started another company just to focus on fintech directly.
Excellent.
So that's where I want to go on the second break, second time to attack the unbanked market.
The unbanked market.
Yeah, the unbanked.
And I want to say, Ronald, that with all the past that we're hearing you talk about, I mean, it's amazing that you've accomplished this in one lifetime, first of all, and just to watch the evolution, like we were talking about earlier, if not this, then what it is taking you, as we are going to be discussing banking the unbanked right now, which is something that Paul and I are both very excited about, and I think that's the goal for so many people out there in the cryptocurrency and network marketing space. It's just, I think we see you as such a great it's just amazing to be working with you because you have all these credentials and all from phones to all this, the shopping, as we're talking about communication platforms. Now we're talking about fintech and stuff. So continue, please.
Yeah, so we are really new boys in the fintech industry, and we started to learn a lot about it, especially the legality side about it, and what are things that we need to do. One of the things that with all our solutions is we don't try to reinvent the wheel. We take parts of it which is tedious, we automate it, and we try to chop down a lot of steps that is unneeded. Okay, and basically that's what we've been doing with our technology for the next 2 years, which is to provide a really easy way for anyone to apply for prepaid cards. Okay. All right, but prepaid cards was already in the market for very, very long. Right.
Another technology.
And and we wanted to actually build stuffs into a card whereby you can use it for multiple purposes. And one of the purposes that we actually did was, let's say for example, if you are a MasterCard itself, and how it works is if you were to go to a terminal and you swipe your card, it will actually contact the network provider, which is MasterCard itself, and you will have to pay for that fee. All right. And one of the ways to actually skip the fee is you process it locally using your own network without sending it over to the MasterCard network. Okay. So we actually did a lot of this funny stuff, and it actually got attention of the bigger boys, and we actually worked with UnionPay International on a lot of our stuff. And one of the things that we actually did was using this thing called dynamic CVV. So you can look at your
what was it again?
Dynamic CVVs. Okay. So if you look at your credit card at the back, you have a fixed 3 numbers.
Yeah, the CVV.
All right. And if somebody were to take your card and take a photo of the front and the back, that's about it, right?
That's all they need, right? It's a process.
But the thing is, nowadays we have this thing called 3DS, right? Whereby they will send you SMS and you have to verify and things like that, right? But in certain countries itself, there's no 3DS capabilities. So
I haven't seen that in America, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So what we had was the number at the back will always change. Okay, but it's what is written there is only 888s, right? But when you want to make a transaction, you have to use your phone and to access the app itself, the wallet app, to actually get a 60-second valid CVV number, which you can then enter into
like an OTP kind of a number.
Yeah, but OTP you need to send an SMS out, right? But this is actually generated on the phone itself, that is linked to the card. Okay, so we have this
got that covered.
Crazy stuff. But for that system itself, it won't work for things like if you need to store your cards. Yeah, store on file it won't work anymore because the CVV can't be used again. Right. So a lot of services use store on file because users don't want to rekey in their credit card numbers again and again and again and again. so it wasn't that popular. So we actually scrapped it and we thought about doing something else. Okay, so we actually moved on then to dabble a bit with blockchain. We were very pro the Ethereum then, so we were learning how to write smart contracts and things like that until Electronium, through a partner, came to us and said that they have this problem. They want to make Electronium run on a phone. So Electronium runs on runs on Monero. They actually they took Monero and they converted it and they rebranded it. They call it Electronium.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So Electronium itself runs on this engine. They call it Kryptonite. So what we did was we actually took Kryptonite and we reverse engineered it to run on a phone. So it was for x86. We had to actually compile it back down to ARM, which is for the phone, to actually run. It was a big hassle because the addressing is a bit different. So we actually managed to make it work. A lot of libraries were apart, but we did it anyway. And the cool thing is we actually made it run on the phone. It was actually mining on the phone. All right, the phone just has to be charged all the time. And when we had it charged, I remember at the time I had a Galaxy Note 3, all right, and I had it charged for about 5-6 days. It was constantly lit up because it was doing a lot of things on the front end and the back end as well. And it was mining fine, but it was so hot.
Oh, like that, huh?
Yeah, and the battery after a month, it wobbled.
No, well, that's a little freaky right there. That might explode.
Yeah. So then we actually went back and told Electronum that it cannot be done, and the only way is to rewrite everything and not use the proof of work consensus.
Pretty sticky.
Yeah. But they did not really like it, and so we did not actually get the project from them. So we really actually need it then, and we need something new to do. So for the next matter of, I was in my lair, in my office. There's this huge space. Yeah.
Like that.
So I normally don't have I don't sit on a chair. I sit on the ground. Tatami style, and all the engineers were to gather around with me. So we spent 1 month to design something that doesn't use the proof of work consensus. It doesn't use Whisper to send network broadcast, and it's event driven. Okay, it's event driven. Okay. Which means that you only need to store whatever you need to store, right? And it's actually fully on mobile, and it can run offline and online. So we wanted to build something like that, and we know that if we were to do this, we have to rewrite everything from ground up, and to relearn what we know about a blockchain. So we went back to the basics of what blockchain was, and we have to re-engineer everything from the start. Yeah. Yeah. So we wanted to make it run on even the smallest kind of device. At the time, I had a good meeting with IOTA at the time, and they had this very good concept of running it on IoT devices, right? So, but they are still on the same concept whereby they need master nodes, right? Server nodes to actually do all the addressing, and the IoT devices are just the light clients that sync. Okay. So what we want to do was, why don't we push everything onto the IoT device itself, so we can skip the servers? Yeah. And basically, and basically what happened then was this. It took me another 2 weeks. I was sitting down alone. I locked the door, and I started to push everything onto the IoT device. It was a $4 device.
What is that? What
It's
is
just
it for $4?
Yeah, it's just a very small IoT device,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
And it's the slowest speed you can find.
I bet.
It's about 33 megahertz, with a with a watch battery. You can run it for at least a month. Right? Yeah, about a month. So what I did was, we actually built the stacks all together again. TCP was too heavy, and we had to re-engineer something that don't really work on TCP, but on UDP. But UDP is very difficult to program in a way whereby if I were to send something a lot in UDP out, it comes in unordered. So there's a lot of work done on the other receiving side. To send out is fast, but to receive, you decode, and the checks are a lot. So the code itself actually takes a long time to receive. So we have to build something which it's in between. So we took another a week or so on research. We found out there's this protocol that Cisco was using on their routers.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we took that and we implemented it, and it was just superb. It just worked. So if you were on a Bitcoin network, right, and you were to receive a lot of junk messages, because you have to write it down, okay? So ours is now through that protocol itself, I can just send one time into the switches, and the switcher will just broadcast it out to anyone around. And those that can hear it will just capture it and store. One time, if it's a whisper system, you have to tell anybody that you're connected with. So for us, it's only one time out and one time in.
It's very, very cutting edge.
Guys, and just say one thing as you're listening to the Facebook Live here, is that I've been in the industry now since 2008, and anybody that's listening to this for the first time, did you ever hear somebody with so much knowledge, have so much knowledge, not just in this space, but in all his track record? I'd encourage everybody on the Facebook Live to look, follow Ronald on Facebook, go back in the last 10 or 15 years, go on to Google, and what you're seeing here is a true visionary. You know, Apple got to this place with Steve Jobs, Bill Gates did it with Microsoft. I truly believe in this project that we have a man leading the way that's really trying to do things in the right way. Ronald's going to speak soon about the unbanked. So please, for the rest of the Facebook, take plenty of notes and make sure after the call, get on to Ryan if you want to follow up with more information. The world of information is here. So stay tuned, guys, because this, what you're hearing now, doesn't come along too often in our industry. We have something special, and we're just humbled to be in the presence of somebody with true greatness. Back to you, Ronald.
Wow, that was a great. Yeah. Okay, so long story short, we actually did a lot of other development, and one of it was to make sure that we don't store unnecessary data on the phone. We were doing on this IoT device that has only like less than a gig of RAM. So we're talking about some of it after the OS, everything, you have about 40 meg or 400 meg or something like that. It's very, very little. And how can we store all this out? So one of the things that we actually set in stone was we cannot use more than 300 megs for sharing. Then I took a bunch of these IoT devices that we had lying around, because we're doing one of the projects for the Singapore the MRT system, whereby to go to the MRT, right, there's this escalator, and the escalator actually runs very fast because you get your ferry good from the concourse down to the tracks, right? But there's a very, very, very big problem there, whereby you have to have somebody to monitor how many people is on the track and how many people is trying to go down from the concourse of the track. if there's a flood of people in the tracks, right, they will actually manually stop the escalator. So what we did was we wrote this IoT device that we placed around the MRT station to read beacons, your Wi-Fi beacons. Right? So we can actually roughly calculate how many people is at the concourse and at the tracks. So the speed of the escalator is automatically set. So we had a lot of these IoT devices lying around, right? And I took about 50 of them and I installed it with the first version of Aai and just turn it on, right? I did my first transaction on it. I couldn't see the transaction because it was so fast. It was in there that it couldn't be, right? So I sent 100,000 transactions. It completed it. That's test environment, right? It finished in about 3 seconds or so.
Oh my gosh!
It's like, what happened? And I looked at all these devices. They're all updated. There's about 50 of them. It's all updated. This couldn't be, right? So I had to write something to prove that it actually worked. Yeah. Right. So I wrote this very rudimentary dashboard on a iOS. I had an iPad then, right? So I wrote it in such a way that, and every device that actually goes online, onto the network itself, you will see it on this graph. So I can see all my devices, 50 of them all there. And when I did a device, it will show lines. What are the commands that it's trying to send and things like that. And it just happens so fast. Yeah, it's real time. It's just like, it is done. And next is actually added into a visualization where the blockchains are. So, which I'm going to show.
I can't wait to see this in the presentation.
So we had that. Everybody else had a very nice web-based blockchain where you can see things like that. So ours is a visual way of showing it. It's really cool. You can see things live. Right? So we had that. So it was done in such a rush. All right. That's why we never published it, and it was only used for us to actually check whether it is really working or not. Right. So and from that itself, we took the code that we actually wrote on the IoT devices to put it onto phones. That took a couple of weeks, and the engineers were playing with it, and we had a platform. So once we have this platform, the next stage is, because I have this angel investor that wanted to say that, hey, we have something like this that we can actually rival the speed of the time. The fastest was called, what was that called? Nano. It's a nano network or something. Nano chain. They were the fastest with about a million TPS or something. So
that's transactions per second.
Yeah, transactions per second. And what we had was, without master nodes, we can actually do it with phones. And one of the benefits of doing it with phones is the phones is bi-directional in traffic. So if I have 5 phones, I can do 5 transactions at the same time. If I have 10 phones, I can do 10 at the same time. It's the same thing like how blockchain is, but only one can do it at one time. Even though you have a million PCs, only one can actually write. Now we can have 5 or 10 to write at the same time, in and out. So we had something like that, and we want to build things on top of it. So the first project, ICO, that we actually took in was from an Indian company that had a very cool project to tokenize milk. All right, and they have their own farm, dairy farm. This engine itself, they tokenize each of the cows so that you will know that the cow itself driving the milk, going through the pasteurization machine. If something were to happen onto this batch of milk, they know that it came from which cow.
So helpful.
Yeah, awesome. Because the way they sold it to us was milk in India is really, really terrible. The bacterial count is 2,000 times higher than normal. Right? That's why the pasteurization process is very. They have to use a high pasteurization process whereby it kills a lot of good vitamins and things like that. Normally they want to pasteurize it at the lower level. It cannot be stored very long, but they have this cool technology that can do it and so forth. So they want to work with us, and we help them build their own first ICO. And the rest came, and so on and so forth. We were riding with ICOs then. Well, some made it, some didn't. It was the ICO times. But we, all along, we knew that we had to have something wow on the platform.
I think we're getting close to talking about cloud token now.
Yeah, something wow to be on this platform. At the time, we met WBF, and WBF came to us and said that they needed a platform. And they have actually went around Southeast Asia and through Europe and US to look for a platform which they can fork and call it their own, okay, and to raise funds.
That was fork, yes.
Yeah, it's FORK, yeah. So I was one of their choices, and they met me and I showed them what we can do. They were quite impressed about it, and they did a JV with us. So that's where BitBeta system came in place. So, but BitBeta systems itself has a lot of differences between Aura. When we built Aura, we wanted it to be free. Everyone just buy a SIM card, that's your certificate, and you can use it for free, right? Same thing like IOTA, you have to do 2 actions in order to do 1 action. You have to process 2 times to do 1 action, right? So it's free, it's costless, but BitBeta could not live on that. They need people to invest ICO-based style, get all of things, just like how Ethereum started with. So we have to re-engineer a lot of stuff, and it was before the New York event before the event for WBF New York. So we had about 2 weeks to modify the whole thing, and we actually stripped down a lot of stuff, made it a bit more clear. You need to have master nodes around, and each master nodes can be bought, and we have some funny stuff inside there that you do the calculation. So it's like the EOS model whereby you can own a master node. Mm-hmm. So we built that for them, and it didn't work out for them. So we were at the end of our contract, because they actually contracted me to become their advisor, but they put me as CTO. I was never part of the BitBeta company at all, not just the advisor. So our contract was really over, and the owner of WBF came to me and said that help me one more time, meet a couple of people. So went over to Guangzhou to meet the initial stakeholders for CT. Yeah, and there were 15 of them, and
Cloud Token.
Yeah,
CT.
And all of them were having the same issue. They've all been scammed before by a lot of projects,
Nice.
right? And they see a lack of competition in this space is because most of those projects, right, they are not as technology advanced as Plus then, right? So they came to me and said that they want to build something that can last very long and real, and it is totally decentralized. And I told them it's not going to be an easy road, because no one actually built a decentralized wallet that way before. It's going to be really, really tough, just on us alone. And on a unproven platform like ours, it's going to be even more hard sell for you. Is that we'll leave the selling to them. And okay, so for the next 1 month, we drew up a lot of plans. But one of the things that I put in place was, if I would work on this project, there are certain things that they need to agree upon. And one of the things is, okay, it needs to be as transparent as possible. Where the money is coming from.
Very, very important.
Yeah, where the money is going to. In the exchange itself, you need to show everyone what are we trading and what are all the things. It needs to be clear.
Yes.
Okay, because you've been scammed before, and you don't want to scam other people as well.
And everyone claims to have these bots and that they show trading and stuff like this. And
Yeah, and this is very important, the part that's going to be discussed now, because myself and Matthias, we stayed out of the industry for 1 year, and we looked at every single system that was out there, and every time they come to us, we'd ask a few simple questions. The first one, who's behind the project? And the second one, will you show us proof of the trading, or if it's not a project, show us proof of where the income is coming from. And when Matthias rang me about Cloud Token, I asked the very first same questions. And on the first trip to the Bangkok event, the launch, I couldn't be there as my daughter's communion, but Matthias sat down with Ronald, and Matthias rang me, and Ronald, he said, just show them everything. Open the account, show them Binance, show them the trading, show them everything. He rang me, he says, Paul, listen, this is 1000%. Then myself, I got to meet Ronald, and Ronald did the same with me. So what I've seen in this project, from start to finish, is transparency. It's so important, so that we know our funds are safe in the right place. So thanks, Ronald. Go back to you.
Yeah, so we had all this or steps put in place, and of course not everyone agreed with this. They said that it's not the way things are done, and we said that if you don't agree to this, then we will not continue on. Right? It was March then, and half of the pre-founders they left. Okay, and left about 6, 7 of them. Okay, including us 9, and WBF was still in then until we actually told WBF, don't handle. Okay, you just do your media, and we do the rest. And WBF said that, okay, you guys just do whatever you want, right?
That's what you're waiting for,
yeah.
right there.
They were trying to do an ICO style, which I told them that if we will do an ICO, there's no way we will be legit. The thing is, because what WBF was waiting for is they hold a bunch of tokens themselves and you push the price up, all right? And that is not really good for anyone at all. There will be a very big bubble that we need to actually settle in. Yeah, so that's why. Yep. Yeah, so they left and we took over everything, and the big event was in May, right? So we had to handle everything from the business process outsource, which is to build the company up, structurally build it up. We have a company who are the owners and who are the officers. We have to build all this into the game. The right business proposal. There were so many fake ones floating around. It's being generated by, I don't even know who. That's why there were a lot of, it was a pretty bad start for us. We started off with too many people going in various directions. It was said we are an ICO, but if you're an ICO, then how come we have no token sale? Right? Yeah, so that's why the first white paper was always debunked that way. We have no token sale. How can it be a white paper whereby you have a tokenized model? Right? So we don't have a tokenized model because in the beginning we want everybody to be equal. We have to work for every single CDO there is, right? So that's the reason why WBF did not want to come aboard, because they know that they can't earn fast money from there, and they all left. So we were down doing the BPO, the media, and everything, customer service, the app, and the future of how everything is, plus the trading. So have I told you the story whereby when we first started with trading, we didn't even know how to write a trading bot properly.
Now we have how many bots total?
We have about 4 strategies out, but in the beginning, during January, we have no training robot at all.
Last January.
Yeah, this January.
Okay.
Yeah. We just started like a couple of months. So we had 3 million in the bank from the 15 guys, and actually it's 3.4 mil actually. So what happened was I said that okay, 3.4 mil in Binance, let's try to do trading. So the simple way of doing trading is you buy at a low price and then you sell at a higher price, and you gain from there. So within the first 2 weeks, we lost 1.7 mil.
Right? Over 3.4?
Yeah, over 3.4.
So half down.
And we lost the rest of it in another 1 week plus. Yeah.
Nice job.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. That's also one reason why half of these leaders say that you guys can't do it, and they left. So at the time itself, we were thinking. Actually, we started off at the wrong foot, and whatever everybody's telling us is actually wrong. So we did good research and heavy research on how we can actually do trading, and we look at our own model itself. It's very simple. You give me 1 Ethereum, I'm supposed to give you back 1 Ethereum regardless of the price. So I'm looking at the price for what, right? So then we went on to a math professor for him to give us a calculation that can do pair tracking and also what we call hotspots, okay, on the different pairs.
Okay.
And he came up with a very simple formula for us called Veroom.
Veroom.
Yeah, Veroom, V-A-R-O-O-M.
Okay.
And we utilized Veroom to analyze 16 pairs of trading pairs and to figure out if I would take a 1 Ethereum, how much can I gain in another coin versus the original quantity of Ethereum. For example, Ethereum to, let's say, XRP, I would get maybe 30,000 XRPs. But this 30,000 XRPs, if I were to change it to something else and come back to Ethereum, I might get 1.1 Ethereum. Right? So basically it's based on quantity, and that's called the triangular arbitrage. But this time we're doing 16 different arbitrage. Right? So we're doing that, and from there on, we threw in money ourselves, plus the left 5 big leaders, plus me and David. So the 7 of us altogether, and we actually put into this project itself, and we started. So in March, there's a big event in Guangzhou. Matthew was really panicky because the new engine was just finished. It was really scary. We had about 1,000 people in the crowd waiting to see this. So it took me 10 minutes to walk over to the place, and Matt started smiling. He said that, you know what, we just made 1.7 million. Oof. And on the stage itself, it just went up. At the end of the event, I had about 1.7. I ended up with 3 point something.
By the end of the event?
Yeah, by the end of the event.
So you recouped all that money back then?
Yeah, so it was really cool then, and that's where we started exploding. So we had a big, cool project that is on top of our platform, which is what we wanted. And we had full control of the platform now, and it's really cool.
That's phenomenal. So we have, so getting into this, Ronald, so we're getting into where Cloud Token has evolved to right now. Obviously, we got the bots working in place. That's going really well right there. And then let's talk about what really has inspired you to really take Cloud Token where it's at. Can we talk about the unbanked, the situation? There's so many people in the world, they have phones, but they're not banked yet.
So we actually did this research very many years ago, and I actually said it in the beginning as well. Part of what I wanted to do was to actually make every unbanked citizen to be financially included.
Do you know what percentage of the world is unbanked currently, roughly?
I can't remember the actual figure, but I think it's in about 12 point something billion people.
I'm sorry, how many?
12 point something billion.
Okay, so What is that percentage-wise in the world?
That's quite a huge number.
Huge.
I mean, for certain something like that. Anyway, what we're trying to do is because most of these poor countries, right, each of them would have at least 1 to 2 phones, all right. And the first strategy that to do it was to give everybody a SIM card.
There you go, a little SIM card right there. Yeah.
All right. So that's why we have Cloud SIM. That's the first step, to give everyone a SIM card, so they can have data access, right? And in order to pay for the data access, okay, we are not just taking from the rich giving to the poor. It doesn't work that way. Remember that I say that I do not really support what do you call that, laziness, right? We need to work for it.
Do something.
Yeah, do something for it. So no matter if you're rich or you're poor, once you have a phone, you need to supply it with a lot of money, to get the service. So what we're doing is we're taking a fixed fee or a sum from the poor. We're going to manage it very well for them in trading, and whatever the gains from there is to pay for their service. So this is what we're going to do. And now they have this.
Is this the compound project that you're talking about?
Yeah, this is a compound project I'm talking about, and it's pretty cool. So that everyone can actually join it.
Bear with us, guys. We're just plugging the battery pack. Go ahead. Okay. Because we have a lot to talk about here, so thank you so much for taking the time to listen to all this, because it's our goal to really share with you guys the history of this project right here, and for also, as I first saw you again, I saw just transparency in your smile and your face, and how I just had a very good vibe when I saw you. I was like, gosh, I gotta go meet this guy right away here and stuff. So Paul always has a great smile on him. So, all right, so that's good. So we're getting into, Paul, since we're getting the battery, we're getting into now talking about the compound project here. And can you tell us more about like what is possible with the compound project, dealing with organizations, as we're talking about, I think, orphanages and stuff like this before breakfast this morning.
So basically what happened is I was studying Dai from Myke P. And one of the things they actually done was this thing called the CDP platform, CDP, which is collateral debt positioning. So how is DAI generated? You have to take Ethereum-based assets, pack it to it, and it generates a DAI from there. And you take DAI and you use it. So
DAI is what exactly is that?
DAI is a token that is generated from pegged assets.
Okay, I see.
All right. So one DAI is $1. All right.
Gotcha.
So if you were to take let's say 1 Ethereum to put into DAI itself, so you would generate let's say now it's about 160 DAIs. This is 160.
That's the price of Ethereum being down. What's that right today?
So DAI itself, you stabilize it by people taking in and putting out. Okay. So that's how it works. And what DAI is good for is actually DAI is a Chinese word called DAI, which is loan.
Loan. Yes. L-O-A-N.
Loan. L-O-A-N. Right. So not L-O-N-E. Right. So it's loan. And a lot of projects itself uses loan. Even Huobi wallet itself uses this.
Which one?
A Huobi wallet.
Okay.
Yeah. Even I think Binance actually do it now, but it's just through another way. And a lot of these exchanges are actually moving into CDP, okay? Collateralized debt positioning, in order to do loans.
Gotcha.
And it's actually based on a smart contract, very intelligent smart contract, whereby
it's a big market.
Yeah, it will actually balance out whoever wants to borrow. You put in a certain amount, and you can borrow X amount out. And
credit line almost.
Yeah, you can actually, it's like a credit line, and use that to actually trade and things like that. So basically, it's pretty cool this way. We can earn about let's say, for example, 11 to 17% a year. It's a year, okay? So it's not a lot. Right. It's a year. And what is cool about this is we actually made something cool from here. What we wanted to always do is to help people make better of their finances by not giving them the finance itself, but making a way for them to keep getting this finance. So one of the things that residually through recurring income. One of the things that this can happen or this can work is for like charity orphanages or charity organizations, non-profit organizations, whereby they always rely on donations from other people.
Yeah.
But what if, the donations actually go into a pool whereby it is then used for this a loan thing, and they get about maybe 1% back every month,
Right.
and this 1% back every month is given to the charity. So as long as it's there, they keep getting this funds, and they have to work with the sponsor. So it's one of the things that we are trying to actually do, but for our members. So the rope project actually works this way, but ours is a bit more interesting. So everyone can come in with let's say $10, right? So you put in.
And right now within Cloud Token, we have something come out. It's going to be a low cost like this.
Yeah, right. Let's say you put in $10 every day for the next 30 days. So you put in about $300, right? And at the end of the 30 days, the maturity date, you get a draw. But since you already put in every day for the last 30 days, so you have a draw every day for you, right? And what you can earn is that 1% in total. So for example, if we have 1 million users giving you $10 every day, so that's about 10 million. And 1% of a 10 million, that is a lot of money, right? Of course, you're not going to get everything. We're going to take that and give it to 1,000 people. So you take that pool itself, you divide it by 1,000 people, and you get whatever is the equal split, or based on the portion that you put in. And now, what happens to those that don't win? Don't worry, your base is protected and you don't lose it. It continues on the compound. You can get it the next month, right? And the only thing you lose is time, basically. Let's say, what if you say that, I don't like this project, you can take every cent out of this project. And the best thing is, it's all on chain, and you can use a third-party dashboard to see it every step of the way.
That's very impressive. So again, transparency.
If people leave the money in row, and month after month they can go into the draw again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but you can do it every day, you see. So you can put in every day.
And no matter where we are, because we have a lot of people in different parts of the world, and some would be going through some financially at the moment it wouldn't be the best time, and a lot of people have come to us and said, Paul, listen, to earn commissions for my team I need over $500. Wouldn't it be great if the company could come up with a concept where somebody could come in for cheaper? No, which you can with Jarvis, you can come in cheaper, but you don't earn commissions unless it's over 500. Then Ronald went away, took the ideas on board from the field, and now he's come up with this cool project. Can you imagine, you have somebody in Nigeria, Thailand, Vietnam, Ireland, doesn't matter, and next thing they win this, and let's say they win 10,000. So every week, it will be announced every month who wins. Can you imagine the excitement, everybody in the community waiting to see who won? This is, and your money's protected. If you want to take it out, take it out. Absolutely. I've never heard of this concept before in any company I've been involved in this industry. This is groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah, so basically that's the rope project. So you have the SIM card itself that's using this rope project to actually, and Jarvis itself to actually earn the revenue. And you have this compound finance project itself to really earn the big pool. So we think of it like a sort of a savings lottery, right? Whereby you don't actually lose at all. Yeah, that's good. But it's still a lottery because you get to win a huge amount. So these are the two things that is coming out, plus the OTAs. So let's say you have a lot of CTOs now and you want to use it. We are actually coming out with a merchant program as well. Now this is the cool part about it.
The merchant, you said?
Yeah, the merchant
I'm very excited about this. Right?
So what we wanted to do was this, right? So you know that I wanted to attack the unbanked market, and we're going to actually target a lot of migrant workers in any part of the world who actually use our cloud SIM for free, and they just need to park in a certain X amount of deposit with us, and we will start to trade for them and to earn their service fee. They can just say that, I don't like the service, take back your 300, and we just cancel the service. There's no contract, there's nothing at all. Anytime you can just quit, anytime this is coming, just like how Java is, all right? And now, if they have a wallet that gives them free data, they will ask their family members to have one as well, all right? So now what they can do is they can transfer CTOs from their phone to their family phone, right? And what they can do that after that is the family can actually go to a local mom-pop shop and say that, okay, I give you CTOs, you give me cash. So they become, the mom-pop shops become like an ATM. Now the mom-pop shops itself, how do they actually earn money from that? Because there is a transfer fee, all right? So they can earn $1 or $2 or whatever from that. And it's actually okay for the migrants because Western Union or whoever charges them even more.
Over 10%.
Yep. This is going to be so cheap. And we're talking about fixed fee, right? And everybody earns a slice from this. And the other cool things is there is going to be an affiliate program for the merchant program. So if you are you sign up a merchant itself, there's no MDR fee for the merchant, so it's a good thing for the merchant, right? But if there's no MDR fee, how can we actually pay for the affiliate, right? So how we earn money is, okay, now the merchant itself, because of liquidity purposes, he doesn't keep the coins. He needs to liquidate the coin. So the coins are sent to us, okay, and we actually help them sell the coins into local currency. So we will earn 2% from that, one from each side, the buyer and the seller. Right, so there's 2%. We have to pay tax for that, right? So let's say 0.385 is gone, so left 1.6 something, 1.61. So 1.6. Then you have a forex conversion. Let's say, for example, it's down in, let's say, Indonesia, from US dollars to IDR and then sent to your bank account. Right? There's a transfer fee.
And you're working with banks right now.
Yeah, we are.
Can you discuss that for a little bit? That means
we are working with banks, but I can't tell you which banks. Well, learning from past mistakes, we are not supposed to share.
I think we're being pretty transparent though. Yeah.
So basically, the merchant itself can choose whether they want their cash flow to be weekly, twice weekly, or monthly. Okay. Of course, if they choose monthly, there's going to be a very, very cheap transfer fee. For example, $50 or $60, that's about it. All right. And if it's twice weekly, yeah, for any amount. Yeah. The thing is, let's say if in Indonesia itself, I have 10,000 merchants, right? Okay, I just shoot one time.
So Ronald, with all the information here, okay, guys, you can see we started off, let's say, with Jarvis, with the trading. Ronald, you see how that advanced and the way it's performing. We've seen proof of it. Ronald's spoken about the merchant program, also Grab, someone we're working with now as well that's going to come. Spoke about the SIM card. So there's so much stuff happening here. So my question out to Ronald, for all the people on Facebook, where's the vision in 5 and 10 years from now? Where are we going with this project? Like, I know there's no end goal because it's going to be constantly evolving as technology is moving at such a rapid pace. But like, where can people on this call see this project in 5 and 10 years from now?
Okay, we try to become the largest wallet in the world.
And right now we're the only one on the App Store, right?
No, there are actually many on the App Store itself, but for projects like us, probably we're the only one at this moment. Well, it takes a long time to actually get on Apple. It's really tough. Anyway, we don't have 5 years program, but we have a 3 years program. So we always say this, okay, Master and Visa took 50 years to cover every part of the world with their network, but they failed to capture the unbanked. Then PayPal came about and they took 12 years to cover every part of the world, but they still don't cover the unbanked. We're going to take 3 years to cover every part of the world, and we're going to cover every single one, including the unbanked. So that's what we're going to do.
That's great.
Okay. We're going to work with anyone, no matter what size you are. If you are a single mom with selling cigarettes by the roadside, just using your phone, you can start collecting CTOs, which you can get cash almost immediately from any other merchants or maybe your supplier. Yeah, so that's basically what we're going to do. And of course there are other things that we're moving into, whereby we'll do micro loan as well through the compound network. Not really loan type, which you get a license for, but through compound itself, you can actually get more loans and things like that from there to actually support your business or trades. So we're moving into that particular portion as well. We're also moving into VCs and things like that. Part of our mandate is to become one of the largest MVNO, mature mobile network operator in Southeast Asia, to have 10 million subscribers. So we can do that easily because very simple. We're the cheapest MVNO around because what is cheaper than free? Right. So I'm gonna hit our mark, from there. And this cloud SIM that you have on your phone itself actually has a certificate, and that certificate itself is the authentication to enable your identity. So we know who is dealing with who. So we know that, this is your wallet. Yeah. So please protect your phone once you actually use the SIM card.
Yeah, another topic I'd like to bring up as well is, one thing a lot of people are really coming into Cloud Token is the amount of income that people are actually, if we can touch base on this. I've watched Paul go to making more than I've ever seen you make, I believe, in network marketing. Is that okay?
We're doing very well.
So a lot of people are getting into Cloud Token. It's got an amazing affiliate program to it, and I think that it serves a great purpose out there getting being banked.
What I can say about that is that I've been in the industry since 2008, and I've been fortunate enough, myself and my business partner Matthias have done very well. We've been involved in some projects that have been very successful. I've been also involved in projects, where the vision's been fantastic, but for it didn't work, and I've been disappointed. So I've been on both sides of the industry, But what I can say about Cloud Token and about what Ryan touched on, how people are doing. What's very good about the project is from day one, when someone joins, they're getting paid. They're getting paid because the Jarvis is trading, and we have people, in the business now, in the top 5 in the world earners in the industry. That's what I can say. And we also have people since April. Since the end of April,
May, June, July.
If you go in the top charts of the world, they're there. But we've also people Ronald just spoke about, people like widows. We have people with a few kids, just a mother at home. I know one particular lady in the UK, making $500 a day. I have people home in Ireland, $50 a day. $50 a day is a lot of money for people, who are just trying to get on in the industry. And on the other side of that, of people over $10,000 a day and beyond. So it's a mixed bag. This industry, what I love about it is this. I worked in Coca-Cola for 16 years. I could never ever make more money than my boss, ever. In network marketing, it's freedom. Some people who don't understand the industry of network marketing, it's true freedom. Robert Kiyosaki said recently, when he was asked in an interview, if he lost all his money, what would he do? He said, I'd find a good multi-level marketing company and start all over again. Because what this industry does, I can join this project today, and if I work hard enough and put in the effort, I can earn more than Ronald. So if you're looking at this for the first time, I believe some of the biggest earners in Cloud Token haven't joined yet. I believe anybody who joins this project, he puts in the work, you determine your paycheck. If you want to work part-time, you get a part-time wage. If you want to work full-time, you get a full-time wage. I'd encourage anybody on the call, if you're in Europe, fly to Poland. Once you sit in company with Ronald, I've been saying it to everybody, once you get an understanding of what's happening, if you're on this Facebook for the past hour and you listen to this and listen back and hear the knowledge that Ronald is giving us, you gotta know this is the only game in town right now. We're here to make something special happen.
Boom.
Oh, that's good.
I'm just very stoked about tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely, we walked into the room, there's 1,000 chairs right there. I can just imagine how phenomenal it's going to be tomorrow. We got some great leadership here. For those, one thing that held me back from getting involved in cloud tokens, I don't want to be part of a scam at all. And no one wants to be part of a scam. It's unfortunately, we can't control if a CEO is going to go ahead and dive the company or run off with the money. That's out. We may have the biggest dreams and hopes out there as marketers that care about our teams. But Paul, Ronald, could you just touch base on why this is not a scam compared to? I don't know much about this Plus token that went under, for example.
I'll give my words and Ronald can touch on it because I've been in this industry, okay. And when you're around the industry for a while, you learn, okay? Early on in the industry for myself, I had a very bad experience with a company. I was very new to the industry and I had a bad experience back in 2011. What I've learned over the years is when I get involved, have a look, do my due diligence, and once I put in the due diligence and believe in the man, then we bring the team in and go to work, But us as network marketers, it's down to the man at the top. Like if I'm working in Coca-Cola and Coca-Cola go out of business, it's not my fault, it's the management, the way they led the project, So what we've learned is to put a lot of research into the man behind the project. And that's why now I'm going to pass off to Ronald. I studied Ronald's background, I've studied where he came from. You all heard in the past hour where he's come from. And when you have a man at that level and that caliber, and when he's getting involved in this industry, I ask why? Why after so long would you put your name into multi-level marketing, This man has won awards in the blockchain space.
Which award was it? That was very impressive.
In 2018 for Bitly, the system, the blockchain project of the year.
Blockchain project.
When I did the research into this and see what Ronald has done, I knew when I came and met, and when I saw the trading, when I saw what was happening, when I saw the people who were coming on board this, I knew this was 100%. So Ronald, if you want to touch on, give people, before we sign off, give people the reassurance that what we're doing here is the real deal.
Well, real deal or not, it's really up to you guys to actually do your own research to figure out what we're doing. But I will try to ease that process by showing whatever we have. So just follow us on our post on Facebook. You will get as clear as possible. And also join us in events. I will try to show many cool stuff they're working on with you guys. Tomorrow will be a very special event. We're showing the merchant program or the merchant app for the first time. You can see how it works and how the POS system will work, how simple it is, and the whole process is shown on the dashboard blockchain. So it's going to really be fun.
Yes. And if there's any big leaders out there that are interested in coming over here and taking a look at this, please get with us so we can help facilitate a trip out here to be with us. We're looking for some monster builders out there. We're looking for people to really just help get the word out there about this. And I'm just very excited. I know Paul and Ronald, I came over here, I told Paul in the car, I said, I'm not going to say anything about this company. I was very quiet about it. I've been part of it again for 2 to 3 months, getting involved and not even saying anything to anyone really about it. And I said, am I going to make a Facebook post the whole time? I'm going to let people just kind of wonder why went wrong, what's going on exactly. I never seen anything about cloud tech, but after meeting you, Ronald, and talking about this technology till midnight last night on jet lag and everything, and just being among those people that we trust, I feel very confident with sharing this with people. And for anyone that thinks it's a scam, I truly believe it is not at all. My very last question is because do we have the technology nowadays? Let's see something, God forbid, something happened to the man in the company. What kind of protection is there around there with the development team or to keep the vision alive and going if something was to happen? It's, any of us out there.
Unlike other projects whereby it's a project, right? So a project can really just stop. We are a business itself, so you must have things like business continuity. What are the things that we are forced to do, whether we like it or not, to get the FSL license or to be accredited we need to do certain things. One of it is called business continuity process, which means that if certain key management people were to be incapacitated to perform its duties, then what would how would it what are the measures to actually do this? If the office were to, let's say, be blown into smithereens, okay, how can we actually continue, right? So we have a set of process put in place, not just by us but by the lawyers, educating us on how to do stuff like that, and also we work with our partners. Let's say, for example, on the server side with AWS and with Azure, Microsoft, on how these things, how the servers will continue to run in case if something happens, and also because we're going to keep a lot of massive bunch of data, right? And how is the data going to be secured? Okay. The cool thing about us is we don't actually store KYC data at all. So in that context itself, if our data were to be leaked, there's nothing in there to actually say what is what and who is who, right? So that's the one thing cool about us. Of course, we're still lucky to be working with Cloudflare, which we finally got our first VIP account with Cloudflare now. So we have a dedicated engineer looking at our whole entire architecture and system.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you said we have a good legal team.
We have a good legal team, Mills Oakley from Melbourne, that works with many big corporates. They are the top 10 in Melbourne. And a lot of things that we are doing is to, number one, get the licenses readily available so that all our partners are protected. And second thing is to protect our name from being smeared by a lot of people who say things without proof, right? So we're doing a lot of things on that as well. And the most important one is actually on the business continuity part, where the lawyers itself needs to handle how the process and to move on with all things. Yeah. So all these are working with them. Yeah. And
I think we should have Kaja give a little feedback on his experience with Cloud Token here. I could step out for a second. Come on in.
I'll step out. Come over here.
Go ahead. 1 minute.
We're here, guys. We're in the hotel, so if you hear any noise in the background, excuse us. We're just so busy back and forth. Everybody wants to speak with Ronald, so it's
definitely.
It's when we have Ronald, we don't want to give him any peace. But Concha is a very good friend of ourselves. He's actually the person that with Matthias was actually with Concha in Vietnam when the text came through for Cloud Token. So I'm very fortunate that Concha got that text and gave it to us. We've worked for the past few years, and his integrity and his work ethic is absolutely fantastic. So let's hear from Concha. Come on, Concha.
Come on in, brother. Welcome to Facebook Live.
Thank you. Hello guys, I'm Concha and I'm based in UK, but I'm doing networking all around the world, mostly in Asia, and as I'm in UK, I market in UK as well, and Europe countries.
And you've been involved with Cloud Token now, Kaja, for how long?
I've been involved in Cloud Token roughly about 4 months now.
4 months, and you've got major teams. How's this experience, how is it different than previous organizations that you've built with other companies?
Previous companies, there was different model. This one is quite different. The model which I did was before was a different model, but this one is completely different.
That one is a scam, this one's not?
Before actually it was affiliate was a binary model, and this one is affiliate model. And the good thing about what I like this is everything they pay in CTO coin. That makes a lot of difference. So when companies paying like Ethereum or Bitcoin, they might have problems, but they are paying in CTO. So all the commission, all the earning, everything is paid on the CTO. So that makes a lot of difference. And your crypto asset, you can withdraw anytime you want. You hold your crypto asset in different exchanges, but you don't get paid. Yeah? But over here, at least you get something. And you have two chances. You have your crypto over there, you're holding in your wallet. If the price goes up, you benefit from there. And you have the CTO, you hold it, your price will go up. And company is doing a lot of things for the utility. So we'll have MasterCard coming up.
You showed us a picture of the MasterCard also, right? The MasterCard terminals right here. That's
we have already seen it. We've seen it in Bangkok event actually. Yeah. Well, that was just a test phase.
Yeah, we passed 5 cards to the Chinese top leaders. Yeah, so they're using it happily for the last few months.
Yeah, awesome. They're already testing it, so because we need to find the faults in the cards, because it's involved with our currency, so we have to be really careful with that.
Yeah, one of the things that because we actually started off the project, I think in a very messy mode. There are a lot of information. There's a lot of information which is being spread around that is not true. Always only get the information online from our official website. Yeah. So go to our website, www.cloudtokenwallet.com. Yeah, we are not an ICO, so there's no tokenized model, there's no white paper. We are a business, so there's only a business proposal that is available.
So someone says there is a white paper. What do we say? What do you say?
We don't. We are not an ICO. Only ICO needs white paper.
Exactly. There you go. Okay. Very good. Well, this has been a phenomenal time for us all to get together and discuss this, and excited to learn more tomorrow at our presentation. So, thank you, Ronald, for your time today. Really appreciate it. Kaja, nice to meet you on this trip and be part of this with you for sure. Paul, always a pleasure. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye.